Hey guys, my name's Cami Price and I am the head trainer and nutritionist here at Ideal Shape. I'm also a certified yoga instructor, and today I'm going to be walking you through a beginner yoga flow that's really going to break down Sun Salutation A and Sun Salutation B. So make sure you like this video and subscribe so that you never miss a yoga flow. All right, you guys, let's get started. So like I said, today we're going to break down Sun Salutation A and Sun Salutation B. First thing to know though is that there are so many different types of yoga, and all types of yoga are good. It's just a matter of finding which one works for you and then pursuing that. I personally like to do a blend of a bunch of different styles. When I first was introduced to yoga, I did a lot of Ashtanga. I still love to do that. Since then I've done Bikram, Dharma, Power, a lot of American Vinyasa, so many different styles, and they all have amazing benefits. One thing that you'll find in a lot of Vinyasa style classes are Sun Salutations. Again, they're going to look a little bit different depending on what style you're practicing, but they're all pretty familiar from one to the next. They just have components that are very much the same. So we'll break down kind of the Ashtanga method of A and B. This is good to know because at the beginning of any class, you're usually going to run through A and B kind of as a warm-up. So even at home, this is a great thing to do maybe first thing in the morning or even in the afternoon. If you're just kind of feeling your energy lag a little, you can just jump down and do a couple of the A's, a couple of the B's, and you'll notice your energy picking up. So a great warm-up, but then also you'll notice the classes will teach those and then add in some different variations. So let's get started. I'll show a couple of A and a couple of B. We'll do some modifications, and then we'll also do kind of the full range of motion. So let's do it. So first, Sun Salutation A. Start at the top of your mat. Big toes are together. Heels are slightly apart. First, moving through a modified A. Eventually, as you practice, you'll learn to sync your movement with your breath, but for the sake of just going through the postures, we won't worry so much about our breathing this time. So hands are at heart center. The first movement, you'll inhale as you bring your arms and gaze up. So if it bothers your neck at any point to lift your gaze, you can always keep your gaze straight forward. Next movement, as you exhale, you'll swan dive forward. So this whole time, keeping your back nice and straight. The next movement is coming to a flat back with an inhale. So you might have your fingertips on the ground, your gaze might be slightly out. You might even bring your hands to your shins or maybe even up to your thighs for more support. You can also use blocks underneath your hands. Next movement, hands come down to the ground and you can step, or by modifying one foot and then the other back to a high plank position. You can even drop to your knees. The next movement is a chaturanga, or a push-up, keeping your elbows in by your sides and your gaze slightly forward. So you don't want to go down all the way, you just want to come to about a 90-degree angle with your arms. From here, upward facing dog or cobra, keeping your legs on the ground would be the way to modify it. Rolling your shoulders back and away from your ears. So again, a modification would be to keep your gaze straight forward, or full range, you can lift your head up. From here, you'll lift into downward facing dog, tucking your toes under, and then lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, you want your feet about hip width distance apart. Your ears are in line with your biceps. Your gaze is toward the tops of your thighs. You want to have a nice flat back. You can bend your knees a little to keep your back nice and straight, and then eventually you'll find your heels getting closer to the ground and your legs straightening out. In downward facing dog, you want to pull your ribs together, keeping your core nice and tight. In most classes, you'll stay in downward dog for a few breaths. The Ashtanga style stays here for 5 breaths. From here, you'll bend your knees and jump, or the modification would be to walk your feet forward, coming to a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen to that same flat back position. So again, maybe fingertips are on the ground, or on blocks, or on shins, or on thighs. Lengthening, looking out. you fold back down. And then with a deep breath, you'll rise all the way back up, reach your arms high, and then hands come back to heart center. So that's one sun salutation A. With modifications, we'll go through it again without the modifications. Moving with the breath, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look out to the horizon. Exhale, plant the hands down, step or maybe jump the feet back, lowering to a chaturanga. Inhale, slide the toes back, lift the chest up, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. And again, holding here for 5 breaths. So at the beginning of a practice, you might not feel ready to go into downward facing dog. You might drop and take a child's pose instead. And at any time when you're practicing, child's pose is always an option and a great alternative to downward facing dog. From here, bend the knees. Inhale, step or jump the feet out, lengthen the spine, look out. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach the arms high. And then exhale, hands to heart center. So we'll go through 2 more of those, moving in real time, breath and movement syncing together, just to see what it feels like, and then we'll jump into sun salutation B. So hands at heart center, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lift the gaze up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lengthen, look out. Exhale, plant hands, go back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, step or jump forward, lengthen the spine, look out. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach arms and gaze high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Straight into it again. Inhale, arms and gaze lift. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look out. Exhale, plant hands, go back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog and hold. Stay breathing. So again here, typically 3 to 5 breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. Deep inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, step or jump forward, lengthen the spine, look out. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms and gaze, reach high. Exhale, hands to heart center. So that's sun salutation A. We'll move straight into sun salutation B. I'll show the modifications first. So starting hands in heart center, again, big toes are together, heels are slightly apart. Bend the knees, sweep the arms down, and rise up into chair pose. So chair pose, full posture, palms are pressing together and gaze is lifted. If this bothers your neck or your back, you can keep your gaze straight forward and even bring your hands to heart center, making it a little bit easier. So holding here again, pulling your rib cage together, and then straighten the legs and fold. Very similar to sun salutation A, you come to that flat back position, lengthen the spine again. Maybe hands are on the ground, on a block, on the shins, on the thighs. And then hands come down to the ground. You can step or jump the feet back. So modification is to step the feet back, just like sun salutation A, lowering into chaturanga. The modification is on the knees. lifting into upward dog, modification on the knees, gaze forward. Maybe you lift the gaze and move into the full posture. From here, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Now in Sun Salutation B, rather than holding downward facing dog, you'll step your right foot forward between the hands. First modification might be to just drop that back knee onto the ground and stay here, or maybe arms reach high. The full posture, you'll move into Warrior One, which I'll show you next time. Bring hands down to the ground. Next movement, you'll step your foot back, lower through that chaturanga, maybe on your knees or toes. Lift into upward facing dog, or the modification is cobra. Again, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back to downward facing dog, and then straight away moving on to the other side. So inhale, the left foot comes forward. Take your modification if that feels best, dropping the back knee down. You might untuck the toe, keep the hands on the ground, or maybe reach the arms up. Again, the full motion will be a Warrior One, so I'll show that the next time we go through this. Step the foot back, chaturanga, on the knees or on the toes, upward facing dog or cobra, you choose. And then from here, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Since we're familiar with this posture, rather than holding for our 3 to 5 breaths, this time we'll bend the knees and just move straight into the rest of Surya Namaskar B or Sun Salutation B. Lengthen the spine, look out to the horizon. Exhale, fold. From here, it's a little bit different in Sun Salutation B. You bend the knees and move right into chair pose on an inhale, and then exhale, back to the beginning. So that might have been a little bit confusing, showing you all the modifications. That's okay. We're just here to practice together. This time we'll go through it a little bit quicker and show you the full range of motion for Sun Salutation B. So again, hands are at heart center. Bend the knees, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look out to the horizon. Exhale, plant hands down, step or jump the feet back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Full range of motion. Inhale, the right foot steps forward, the left heel spirals down, arms sweep up, Warrior One. In Warrior One, you want as much as possible to try to square your hips toward the front of the mat. Nice bend in that front knee, eventually coming to a 90-degree angle. Hands can be at heart center and gaze forward. That feels better on your neck. Again, full range of motion. Arms and gaze would be lifted. Exhale, you'd bring your hands down, step the foot back, and lower into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale to down dog. And then same thing on the other side. So full range of motion. Inhale, the left foot steps forward, right heel spirals down, hips are squared forward, arms and gaze lift. Again, keeping that hip squared forward. So you might really think about pulling one hip back and pressing the other hip forward, finding that bend in the front knee. Gaze and arms are lifted, or if that bothers your neck, gaze is forward and hands are at heart center. From here, hands come back down to the ground, left foot steps back, lower, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Hold here, catch your breath. Staying in the downward facing dog for 3 to 5 breaths, in and out through the nose. Deep inhale, exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, step or jump the feet forward, lengthen the spine, look out. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sweep the arms up, chair pose. Exhale, coming back to the beginning. So we'll do one more of these, moving through real time with that Warrior One. Hands are at heart center. Bend the knees, inhale, the arms sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, look out. Exhale, plant hands, go back, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, down, chaturanga. Inhale, up. Exhale, down dog. One breath, one movement, left foot steps forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, back to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Hold here. Breathing. So in a full class, your body will feel really warm after you've done 3 to 5 sun salutation A's and sun salutation B's. After 3 to 5 breaths, deep inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Step or jump the feet forward, lengthen the spine, look out. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms up, chair pose, and exhale, come to stand. I hope that helped clarify sun salutation A, sun salutation B. Again, this is something great to do at the beginning of your own home practice, early in the morning, in the afternoon, maybe when you're feeling a lag in energy, or just to kind of familiarize yourself with before you step foot into your first yoga class. As always, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for practicing with me. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so that you never miss a yoga flow. Namaste.